Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Whorible. This is Yones. I'm your girl Mandii B, aka Peg the Stallion, aka Peg and Markle, aka I'm out here fucking these niggas, aka that bitch.
You've been out here fucking these niggas, and that's why we have a show.
No, I was not fucking these niggas for like a year. I was healing.
Okay, babe.
I didn't like that part.
My name is Weezy, and Mandi's lying. Mandii was getting dick once in a blue, and if she didn't like it, it didn't count.
It was fingers. I got finger banged, but I wasn't getting dick while I was really being celibate.
Girl, you weren't celibate. You was sad.
I was sad.
Anyway, I don't know if this was going to be a PG episode, but I really wanted us to do an episode talking about sexuality and...
This isn't going to be PG. We're going to find a way for this not to be PG.
I almost said sexuality and kids, but it's not that. So I had an experience that I was telling Mandii about, and maybe we talked about it on Whorible, where I had to talk to my friend's kid about their period and about sex. And I was like, I don't know how to do this, nigga. So we brought in an expert. We have Tara, who wrote into Whorible in our post. You have a youth seggspert program, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about it.
We are a nonprofit organization. We are a sex ed training program. So essentially, students 14 through 18 can come for weekly sessions for a semester, and it's comprehensive sex education and communications training so that they can learn how to become their own community's sexpert.
But this is outside of their school? Like they have to come to a separate location for it?
So this is all digital. So we work with kids who are all over the U.S. So in our last cohort, we had students from Arizona, Florida, New York, Massachusetts, off the top of my head.
How do kids find it?
Mostly through social media. That's where we've seen the most success.
Okay.
During our off season when we're not in program, we do everything that we can to advertise. So just earlier yesterday, we were at Youth Summit NYC, got to talk to a bunch of students there. So we try to find places where students are at and tell them about the program.
Do parents send their kids?
So we knew that we had to either work hand in hand with schools or hand in hand with parents. And we decided to kind of go the individual families route, which in hindsight was a great decision because we've run into so much bullshit trying to work with schools, even just to get the word out about programming. But yeah, so we need parent sign off. And so on our staff, we have a parent liaison who works with students to get that parent permission because we understand that can be a really big barrier.
Because I'm thinking, I feel like at a certain age, if you can't learn it from your parents and then you need them to sign off and they don't, you're fucked.
It's crazy because that's actually, I was literally scrolling. Somebody called me, so I missed it. I was scrolling through our comments on our solo episode, actually. And it's crazy. I don't know what the conversation was, but someone literally wrote, let me find it. I tried to screenshot it earlier. Someone literally wrote, LOL, Mandii talking about Black families having to talk about sex. That just doesn't happen. And literally, I'm just like, well, it should. And we shouldn't depend on sex ed in schools because we know that that's not happening either. Which is why we have a whole generation, multiple generations, of people figuring out sex into their 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, when my mom came to our first live show, there was a little touching moment where she was like, I'm a little jealous that you're being able to explore yourself in your 20s and 30s. Like she's in her 50s and still figuring out herself because of this.
Yeah, I definitely had a similar moment even with my parents where I feel like my parents were the best parents ever. But even in the role that I have now, I've done so many interviews or had so many moments where I've low-key had to put them on blast and be like, y'all did not talk to me about sex. And I know that sucks for them to hear, but it's kind of the truth. And it was something that really motivated me in starting this program. So to what you were saying, we know that having parent permission as a requirement is a huge issue and a reason.
Not only that, didn't we all sign our parents' names? Writing. Baby, I know my mama's signature better than mine.
Yeah. My dad steady was like, why does $20 in the checks keep coming out?
Baby, all I know is my mama ain't signed for shit.
That aged me really bad.
Ain't know unless I needed some money.
Yeah.
When it comes to, okay, so when they're getting there, right, these kids are looking it up, say on the younger side. What is their number one question? Can I guess, actually?
Yeah, please guess.
Can I get
wait, you're guessing your number one question that children ask?
Yeah, I'm guessing number one.
Okay.
By that, I mean, I don't know, top 3. How to get pregnant.
I'm going to say, does it hurt? Does it hurt?
Does it hurt? I feel like we haven't gotten those questions. I feel like
Damn,
you'd be surprised
They're teenagers.
What the
by
fuck are they
how
asking now?
nuanced the conversations get. Like, we had one student in our last cohort, and she kept asking these questions that I had never heard before. And I've been doing sex ed for years and years. And I remember, like, one question she asked, there was no answer for it on the internet. It was something about, like, Kegel muscles in people with penises and whether that was the muscle that, I don't even know, something related to that. And I remember there was no answer anywhere on the internet. So I started hitting up all of my male friends being like, when you like flex this muscle, does it do this? And like trying to like source answers
the male
for her.
Yeah.
That was like her question. And so I was like trying to source.
A teenager is asking about a man's Kegels and making a dick jump?
Yep.
Oh, they real advanced.
That's
I didn't even know a dick jump till I was 24. It took me a while to see a nigga do a little, and I like that now.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I had my man do a little dick jump the other day, and I was like, "You can make your titty jump too." He went left, right, and now I'm convinced he was a stripper.
He can make his boobs like move.
It's just your chest,
the pecs.
I've seen women who could do that.
Yeah,
I know, but I ain't gonna hold you. He had a different life, bitch. That nigga was a stripper.
Bro, he's really laughing. He's like, I don't know why you think that. I'm like, I see it. I feel it. You can give me really good massages. Suddenly your dick just could jump on command and your titty pop.
It's giving sex worker.
It's giving jump on it.
Let's do it.
Okay. So 14 through
18.
I do want to talk about teenagers, yes, but I also want to talk about younger. Some period stuff. I think that's like the number one thing. And this is 2 kids, by the way, that I've helped with friends.
Why are they trusting you?
Because they just like, oh, you're a sex educator. I'm like, whoa, I teach hoedom through my whole ass life.
You already saw what happened. What was it in Dallas? I said that I was watching my friend's kids because she had to go to work real quick. And I was like, girl, I got you. And Crystal was like, I need to talk to Britt because she's leaving you with her kids. Like, I get the
How old are the kids?
Oh, they're like 4 and 6.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Don't do that. Shut up. And then my other homegirl was mad because we was drooling over Ty Dolla $ign together. And she was like, my daughter is 13. Can you not be sitting here talking about Ty Dolla $ign and how much
she's going to talk about it anyways.
She don't talk about him anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's the thing. When people don't have kids and they start watching toddlers, it's not like you would be terrible around a kid. I think the only thing I'd be worried about is your mouth.
No. So here's the thing.
It's not like you're going to say fuck to these kids, but Mandii going to be on the phone. Be like, bitch.
It was perfect. So this the new kid era. Shout out to the toddlers and technology. iPad time, and they put their headphones on, and bitch, they be in their iPad. I ain't had to do shit. I was on my laptop. They was on their iPads. It worked out. What? And I was like, y'all good? And then I came over with some little cake pops from Starbucks. They loved me. It was good.
I was such a judgy person about parents. I don't know if anyone else has had this moment that's listening. I would be on a plane or something. I'd be like, look, a restaurant. Look at these kids glued to the iPad. This is ridiculous. Their eyes are so focused on this, blah, blah. Bitch, I watched a 3-year-old the other day for 6 hours. Here. Well, you want my portable battery pack? Oh,
Listen.
Hell no. I do think that's why they don't know how to write in cursive today. I mean, listen.
And
they know the internet. Anyway, okay, let's get back to I was going to say sex and kids. I'm sorry, this is sex
education.
I did actually want to cut this really quick, and I know you're here, so you can help us with some of this dialogue.
Okay.
Mandii and I had a conversation a few weeks ago about rising rates on HIV, and we got a letter from a listener with a bunch of info about PrEP and Doxy, and I think it's perfect because you can jump in on this. Ladies, I'm a huge fan of the show. Most recent episode, you were discussing PrEP and Doxy, and I wanted to give you info to share with listeners in case they're unfamiliar. For background, I am a gay man who's been on PrEP for 7 years. PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis, which means you take it before a possible exposure as protection. There are 3 different types of PrEP. Truvada, Descovy, and the newest is Apretude. I've never heard this. Truvada and Descovy are both pills you take daily. Apretude is an injection that with the first 2 that's the shot. I didn't know the name.
Yep.
Okay, with the first 2 shots taken 1 month apart and then 1 shot every other month. I believe Truvada and Apretude are the only approved PrEP medications for women, however. And Truvada is the one I'm sure you asked.
Yeah.
That's what I asked for back in the day. PEP stands for post-exposure prophylaxis. With PEP, you can take it within 72 hours of a possible exposure. This is the pill, if anybody remembers, that I told my homeboy to get, that he was taking. It's one pill taken every day for 28 days. Okay, that's not the one he got. And it lowers the risk of contracting HIV by more than 80%.
Yeah.
No, this should only be taken in emergency situations and not something you rely on frequently after having unprotected sex.
Because it is one of those that you can become like, whatever it's called.
So it's an antiviral, right? My understanding is both of them are an antivirals. So you want to be really careful with the medication because it's the same type of medication that's used to treat HIV if you do test positive at any point. So you don't want your body to become like
there we
immune.
go.
Yeah,
to the medication.
Yeah, to the medication.
If you take it too much, that's what could happen. You have more information?
Yeah. So DoxyPep, he also brings up. He says, emphasizing again that PrEP and PEP reduces your risk of contracting HIV, only not other STDs and STIs. Now, DoxyPep, that's the one I gave my friend, my bad. It's post-exposure preventative medication, doxycycline, which is an antibiotic. And with Doxy, you take 2 pills at the same time within 72 hours of exposure, and it reduces syphilis, chlamydia, and gonorrhea risk. Obviously, talk with healthcare providers, hoping this information will get you started. Best law. I thought that was helpful.
Absolutely.
Because I know we were just spitballing about what we know. So just a little rundown.
And I love if there's any other healthcare providers too. I know someone reached out to me from an Atlanta clinic who actually administers it. Like that's what their focus is on. And me and Cinnamon are looking to do that. So anyone who has any information about PrEP, all the things, please reach out in our email because I would love to communicate with you guys.
Yeah, when we can get a Gilead or Talk to Us Treat on, I'll let you know. I'll hook you up with them. All right, vanilla shit. So I want to talk about some of the stats you had on your Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
The Youth Sexpert Program. 90% of Americans say sex ed in school did not prepare them for sex in real life.
That's a no shit.
Yeah.
No, anybody.
That's a no shit stat. I don't think anyone learned anything.
That is a no shit stat, however. I feel like all of us in the room should talk about one thing we actually learned from it.
You know what's crazy?
I know what I learned.
The only thing that I remember is, for the ladies specifically, is abstinence, which teaching abstinence takes it away from you learning anything the fuck else.
Yeah.
So it's literally, hey, don't have sex, otherwise you're going to get pregnant or die. And that's literally it. It was like, you're going to catch HIV or you're going to get pregnant. You don't want to do either, so just stay away from dick. That's what they taught me in school.
I remember learning I had another hole. That shit was crazy.
What do you mean another hole?
You know when they blow up the picture of the pussy? I was like...
Like your urethra?
Yeah. I thought my urethra was where
You thought the dick was going to go into that little pee hole?
No, I thought I was peeing out of my pussy.
Your vagina, yeah.
You know,
I think I also thought that at some point.
Wait, you learned that in sex ed, not anatomy? Because isn't that anatomy?
First of all, bitch, you're asking me a lot of things. I said school,
I'm just saying, you went
and you know I didn't finish.
You went to literally the human body, which I think is anatomy.
No, but that I remember that being sex ed because we started talking about where it goes, blah, blah, blah. But I remember thinking like, I don't pee out my pussy hole, but I do pee out my pussy hole. What? And like, yo, it fucked me up.
All I know is they damn sure ain't teach that a woman could take dick in the booty hole.
Oh, absolutely
like,
not.
There was no conversation about women at all having anal sex ever. That was just man sex.
Well, we didn't.
That's the hole for a man to go into.
Do you talk about anal sex?
Yeah, we talk about everything.
How do you talk about anal sex to teenagers?
Honestly, openly and honestly, and prioritizing safety. We tell them if you're using butt plugs at any point, you want to pick a toy with a base, use lots of lube, breathe in and out.
Whoa, I wasn't ready for you to say that.
So I have me, Weezy, and who else was on that episode? All I know is we had a conversation where a teacher was fired for teaching children how to masturbate. And we all were talking about what is too much for a teacher to share or someone that's not the parent. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you, yes, there's a permission slip, but do you not think that teaching teenagers about how to lube up and buy certain size butt plugs, is that too much for someone that's not a parent to be talking about sex to a child?
So as a part of that answer, I'll say that on our consent forms, we offer opt-in and opt-out options for each individual lesson. The hope there being that if a parent is uncomfortable with a certain topic or wants to address it in their home privately, we 1,000% respect that.
Wait, tell me more. What kind of stuff can you opt out from?
So we give a blurb for what each lesson includes. So we have lessons on self-pleasure. We tell parents that we're going to be talking about sex toys. We have lessons on even like what sex worker rights look like around the world. We have lessons on what BDSM looks like, and the parents who do sign up, or at least with our last cohort, they opted in for everything.
I wonder how many.
Really cool.
I wonder how many of these parents that are opting for their children to learn all of these things are in lifestyle. Because I just recently came across an article where they were questioning the psychological effects of children growing up in lifestyle homes where their parents may throw orgies, or clearly their auntie is the unicorn, and what kind of psychological effect that could have on the children that are present in the home.
But sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I will say on the other side of things, there's tons of research around how students who actually receive truly comprehensive sex education are more likely to make their sexual debut later on in life.
Oh.
So thinking about, how much mystery there is around sex leading to all of that curiosity, and then combine that with the lack of education, you have young people who are engaging in partnered sex maybe at a younger age than they otherwise would, and maybe aren't.
I was judging you about a few minutes ago.
No.
But let me get this out, right? It changed my mind when I realized, yes, you're right. So at first I was like, what the fuck is she teaching kids BDSM for? Like, that was going on in my brain. However, what you just said, 100% true. My mom talked about sex so much at home. Obviously, you guys know I was fucking, right? But when it comes to safety, when it came to the first time a man was aggressive with me, when it came to sex with women, like, I felt so comfortable having discussions and coming to her because I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And
he was a hoe forever. Sorry. Sorry. I'm a mic on.
I do. I also think the number one thing I remembered, not that my debut took a certain amount of time, however, pressure. A lot of my friends that didn't want to have sex with boys at a certain age kind of did. I felt very secure and understanding about saying no, what things look like. Or when guys told me, oh, well, I'm hard and it's going to hurt if this and that. Like, teenage boys are pressuring.
Yeah.
I do think because I had a little bit of advanced sex ed, that saved me from some uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And you're right. The curiosity of what things are like may keep a kid from fucking. Now, because it's like, if you're going to go out and start exploring BDSM or looking it up on your own without an expert telling you, I see what you're saying.
Go ahead.
I think that there are a lot of conversations that people are increasingly more comfortable having with young people, like conversations about consent or boundaries or barrier methods or things like that you might see in conventional sex ed. I think the problem a little bit there is it's not like once you hit 18 and you're at that age-appropriate marker that there's somewhere for you to magically learn all of this. You're still picking things up as you go and still a lot of the time not making decisions that are empowered, informed, etc. So even if we view it as educating young people for their future, that is better to me than just leaving them with no resources, just leaving them to their own devices.
Can I ask, I would love to know, in terms of having these open conversations about sex, I know as a millennial, the narrative was, if you fuck a boy, he'll like you more. What is the conversation around teaching women that giving the pussy up to these little boys ain't gonna make this motherfucker like you more, ain't gonna make him treat you better, ain't gonna make him give you more attention? Because I just know that was kind of like,
Yeah, is the sex ed that, like, because that's not necessarily sex ed, that's just,
but,
that's just experience. But do you talk about it?
Yeah, we try to talk about the social aspect of things, especially like incorporating like TikTok, and we're huge on social, like we're really into social media, our team. So we try to bring it to them, and we try to also like see what the conversations are that are happening on social media. I would say in regards to that in particular, I think a big part of that is like really going back to the beginning and defining what sex is, what sex means. So when we're having conversations about birth control, abortion, things like that, we have conversations about, is the purpose of sex reproduction? Or when we're having conversations about self-pleasure, we have conversations about, is this also sex?
I would love to know.
How
Can you answer those questions real quick?
I actually really want to know. Maybe let's just say you're in a small class of 2 or 3 people, right? And 14. and you start talking about self-pleasure, you know in your brain that you're educating these kids, but is there a part of you that feels like, oh God, this is getting awkward or weird?
No.
Really?
I think I also had been doing sex education for years before. And so whatever sort of, oh my God, this is so weird. Like, why am I talking about sex in this space?
Well, pleasure to me, though, is a harder conversation to have than
That's what we had the conversation.
Yeah, that's really what I'm talking about. Not you teaching kids, even BDSM, to be honest. Hey, this is bondage. This is this. These can be restraints. This is a safe word.
The
but
pleasure
like,
aspect.
pleasure is interesting. Like when you're talking about self-pleasure with teenagers, are you talking about privacy? Are you talking about how to do it? Or are you just talking about why? No shame around it? What is it?
So we definitely talk about privacy. We definitely have really in-depth conversations about the logistics of self-pleasure. We do talk about sex toys. I remember that lesson in particular being pretty striking for me because we had an interactive activity where we were having kids connect the name of the sex toy to the toy. Every single one of our students knew they were like, that's a butt plug, that's a dildo, that's a rabbit vibrator. And I was like, oh, okay. So
they found their parents.
Bro, it's just a different time. To me, in my opinion, I know I'm meeting a lot of, and shout out to some of the people in Dallas. 2 people said they've been listening to us since high school.
Yeah.
I want to say this because in my brain, I think people in their 30s and 40s listen to Whorible. But I just had a conversation last night with my man where we were like, bro, do you remember when we had to run to the computer to figure out what something was and keep looking and waiting for something to download and watching it and looking at it? And you're pre-exposed to all of this.
All of it. Even through television and the TV shows and things that are literally just on basic cable.
Even the conversation we had with Meryl where he's like, my daughter, he said something about his daughter walking and having sex. Walking him and his wife.
Yeah.
And when it happened, he was like, she already knew what this was at 5. But that's not, it's literally the stuff they're clicking on.
Yeah. No, it's a bit crazy. I do want to go back to those basic questions that you asked because I would like to know the answers. What is sex? And is it just for reproduction? Like, how do you explain that to a child?
Yeah, I remember that in that lesson particularly, we used this sexplanations video.
Okay.
Where she talks about trying to find a definition herself and it being a really complicated and nuanced question.
Right.
The only sort of universal thing that seemed to define sex was consent, and that if there wasn't consent, then it wasn't
I
sex.
like that.
But other than that, it's a pretty open and broad
I really
definition.
like that. I really like that definition, though. If there isn't consent, then it's not sex.
Then it's not sex. And even when you're having sex with yourself, like checking in and the concept of self-consent and thinking through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so other than that, it's pretty broad. It's open-ended. People define sex differently. There are so many things that can factor into arousal.
People would always tell me when I was dating a woman that we weren't really having sex, and I got so
you did say
that shit really used to annoy me.
Well, because sex to a lot of people is penis in vagina. If it's not that, it's not sex.
Totally get it. I totally understand it.
And that's why I said even when the tip went in your ass, it's anal. It was there. Like oral
to some
sex
people it might be.
sex.
To some people it might not be.
It was
anything.
Was it because not like sorry? I meant like was it when you getting fucked real hard and it's like ew. No, I asked for it.
No,
I just couldn't take it. I'm also trying to think for a second. Is it mainly girls?
Yeah, it is mainly girls and
I think that's
non-binary
part of the problem.
folks. It is part of the problem.
We need more men up in there learning consent at an early goddamn age.
We really
and rejection. There was just a video I saw going viral that a lady was like, yeah, if a man asks for my number, I'm going to just give it to him because I like my life more. And the block button works. And so the conversations that really need to be taught are to little boys and teenage boys around rejection, around consent, around even not applying pressure. If a girl says no, that means no. That doesn't mean persist and keep pushing until she gives in. That's really unfortunate that this isn't being pushed even today for more boys to learn, especially seeing the Diddy era, the Me Too era, the Harvey Weinstein, the R. Kelly. I could keep going with all the names.
It's something we think a lot about. We're trying to be strategic in our branding. We try not to use it
is very pink,
feminine colors. We tried to do green, orange, but yeah, I mean, even yesterday at Youth Summit, we got to talk to like a lot of teenage boys, and like that was really cool.
Did they ask you about how to please a woman? I feel like that's all a little boy want to know.
They hadn't at that event, but I could totally anticipate that being something that happened if we actually had.
What are boys, for the ones that are joining this program, what are they asking?
We haven't had any boys yet.
What?
We haven't had any boys yet. It sucks.
Oh, girl, we need to make a whole nother little, it needs to be the boys' sex youth. Like, we need to make a whole nother portion for these teenage boys.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think what's crazy about it, too, is with this podcast and with so many women talking about, you know, them feeling empowered to have sex out of their own pleasure. Women now saying, nigga, I'm as horny as a man is.
Yeah.
I believe that younger girls are seeking to educate themselves so that they can orgasm.
I don't know if men necessarily feel like this warm, super safe, you can talk to me space. And I don't mean that as men are not that. I just think they aren't as vocal. Women are so, what do you need? Da-da-da-da. For example, one of my homeboys, great and active father. And he said he saw a message where his kid was scared to talk to him. He was like, we talk all the time. And he was like, but I've never said the words, you can talk to me about XYZ. He was like, I just thought being active was enough. And through that conversation, he's like, there's so many things you have to spoon feed a teenager, you know, but women do that. And I guess men, you're just like, oh, you know, you want to be the guy's guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could see that. And I guess maybe it could even be weirder. Are there men that work on the youth sex program?
There aren't currently, but I'm trying to think.
So maybe it's got to be a man.
Yeah, part of the problem.
If we have male board members,
Eddie, we might need to get you a part of this program to teach the youth,
that little peepees.
The youth men. I'll do it. Yeah, you'll do it.
I feel. Well, what would you tell them? Would you tell them?
Wolf gonna tell them to eat beet juice. I would tell them chia seeds and shit.
To eat beet. Would you tell them to refrain to have sex until they're in love? What would y'all say?
What would y'all teach? Is there a mic over there or no? Okay, just yell.
They said lead the niggas out the conversation.
What would be the number one go-to that you would teach? What would you tell a young boy?
Yeah, what do you think you needed to? Protection.
Okay.
That's all they know.
I think
how to wear a condom.
I think for young men in particular, maybe this is me speculating, but I feel like when you're growing up, there's this like formulaic, this is what sex is. Or even like, this is how your penis works. Like you get a boner, there's like a physiological response, you masturbate, you orgasm, you come, whatever. And then that's it, that's done. And there's no more conversation about pleasure, about the existence of pleasure products, about the existence of lube, about the psychology behind everything, about all of these different aspects. It's just like boom, 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 very
And it is
formulaic.
because it's so physical. Because for us, all of our arousal is happening inside and you can't really tell. I mean, you can tell when it gets wet, but even squirting, that didn't happen for me for so long. Like, you know, that's something that
learning,
not everyone knows.
I feel like so many people with vulvas approach, like, first have their orgasms at a later age because of that largely. Like, I feel like I lived a long part of my life just ignoring the fact that I had a clitoris at all because I didn't really know.
Oh, that's the one I knew, Man in a Boat.
At what year did you have your first orgasm?
18.
You had an orgasm at 18?
Yeah.
What was it? Was it with toys? Was it by yourself?
It was with a partner.
Damn,
and what did he do?
He ate my pussy.
And you came that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it, I ain't gonna hold you. I had some good dick when I was young. Like the niggas that I was fucking was some good ass fucks.
Well, I had my first orgasm, but I had already been sexually active.
Same.
I was already having penetrative sex and not enjoying it, and not really understanding like why I didn't enjoy it, and thinking that something was wrong with me physically.
I was coming from playing house with the girls.
Oh, see, I didn't orgasm there, and I
did you feel the rush?
So to me,
I did.
So to me, probably up until penetrative sex, everything about like I didn't even play with myself with my fingers until I was over 18. I liked to rub on things. And I like to feel the little hot burning sensation down there. And then I liked to read books and then just feel myself being wet. But I do nothing else besides getting wet and feeling like it throb. That's it. Until I started having penetrative sex. And then that's how I know I can come off penetrative sex, not really anything.
Yeah, I was a rambunctious, but I think I was gay first. So I think because of that, 8, 9, 10, it was never a little boy. It was always like girls in the neighborhood.
Oh, I ain't gonna hold you. I was hunching on boys and girls. Sorry, mom, if you listening to this. All like the girlfriends that my daddy used to date, they kids, we would be in the closet, under the beds. We would play house. I was hunching on everybody my age.
I was coming too. I feel bad.
I mean, I wasn't like, it wasn't naked, but we was hunching with the jeans and shit. Like, that shit was happening. I was hunching teddy bears. I was hunching the edge of my bed. I was hunching.
But your bed, the pillow, the shower. I feel like
when the shower head came off, baby.
The shower head never did it for me.
Shower head. I used to put that thing
It never
down
did it for me either. But I feel like it is interesting how we all like are expected to just find it or just kind of figure it out in these like really private, alone spaces.
But adults should be doing that. And you know what?
Wait, adults should be doing what? Clarify.
It should be finding it. And
Okay.
I think a lot of the issue with not having sex ed early, or conversations even, is that when you become an adult and you can't have your first orgasm, it's because you're not doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I remember like knowing I needed my nipples stimulated or just things I had to learn as I grew. I actually want to like segue into something that I changed my mind on. It's a little bit about children, not sexuality.
Bro, the way you be saying stuff, though. This whole episode is giving like, bro, just say a full sentence. Talk about children.
Okay, sorry.
You went from I like to play with my nipples, but speaking of children, let's
because we're talking. Okay, that was really bad. Can we edit it? I don't know what to do. Okay, vanilla shit. This is why I want to talk about it. And it was like literally a few hours ago. So, the teacher with the unbraiding of the hair in the studio.
Oh my God. Yeah, I saw that.
My stance changed today.
Oh. Wait,
From
what
what
was
to
your
what?
original stance? Okay.
I want to start by saying, yeah. This, if you haven't seen this video, I felt so awful for this guy that got fired. It was some of his girl students, the black man with students just unbraiding his hair. Apparently it's like the end of school or something. And he was on his way to an appointment in a rush. It wasn't sexual. It was being videotaped. Fine. Now.
So wait, your original stance on that video was?
First stance when I saw this is so innocent. This is just kids just playing. If it was a woman, I've played in their hair. But then I realized, so I started having a conversation about teachers today, right? So my boyfriend has dated a teacher before and he's like, yo, it's crazy because the students text you, the students try to find your Instagram. He's like, there's no fucking boundary. When we were kids, we were looking at teachers like they were old as fuck.
Old as shit.
Yeah.
He's like, and now it's like there was no barrier, I guess, with the girl he dated and the kids. The students were writing about assignments at certain times. And although she wasn't being inappropriate, he's like, that's already inappropriate to me. And then I thought about it. I'm like that video, do you think that video was bad? And he was like, if we had a fucking daughter and you saw a video of her taking out her teacher's hair, what the fuck is she doing in this nigga's head? And I really was thinking, and I thought to myself, I would have been fucking livid if my kid is in school, not no boys and girls club where ain't no curriculum going on, and you playing in this grown-ass man's head. Nigga, cancel your appointment. We all have shit to do. Shit goes wrong. You know what time you get out of school every time.
Yeah.
Why are these little girls doing this? Why didn't you stop them? Why am I thinking this is innocent? There should be a boundary with teachers. It shouldn't be that fucking cool. You can have good relationships with staff members or teachers and not sexualize it. I'm not saying he was doing anything sexual, but why the fuck is this happening? My kid should not be going to school doing any service for you. Like, that's weird to me.
So this is now what you think?
I really didn't think it at first, Mandii, because in my brain, I always think we over-sexualize things.
I agree.
However, when I sat and thought about if it was my kid, I was like, yeah. Even as an adult, hold on. As an adult, I think back that I used to do that for my teacher. What the fuck?
No, I have those moments all the time where I realize that I was like a child and there were teachers maybe like making some weird, inappropriate joke with me or whatever it might be. And I do think I'm Gen Z, so I remember like looking up my teachers on Facebook and trying to be in their business. But I do think as the adult, it's on you to create.
As a millennial, I think I feel like, so with that, I feel like we definitely sexualized it. There was another teacher recently with a bald head who was getting diamonds put on his head. A principal, actually, not even a teacher. The principal was getting rhinestones put on his head. He ain't get fired. To me, I do think if that was a woman teacher, it wouldn't have been said anything. My only issue is down the rabbit hole of going through his TikTok, he was sexualizing some girl that it was obvious she was underage. So he was on some weirdo shit on his TikTok. But for the sticking there, I actually don't think there was anything wrong. I do think we over-sexualized.
Even if it was your kid, you would
Even if it was my kid. Well, and I guess I come from a different place, especially seeing that it was little black girls. Like, I grew up with my high school had a cosmetology school in it. So, like, my cousin did my hair. To me, literally between classes, at the lunchroom, after school program, people are doing people's hair.
Hair is some black shit that in a white way, like getting braided, getting twisted, I get it.
Yeah.
But why is my kid doing a service for you?
But that's the thing too. To see it was a group of girls, it wasn't just one girl. To me, it was a group. My only problem was, and I've said this to a few adults, my problem was that he put it on social media. For me, if I had a child, I don't want my little girl on no grown man's Instagram where there's probably more grown men to see her. Like, to me, that would be my probably big thing with raising a little girl right now, is keeping her out of the views or reach of grown men having accessibility.
I think the touching also, there needs to be a boundary with touching, and maybe that's what I started to think about. Like, the touching is too much.
But to me, hair.
But also, I just want to say this for any men listening that may feel like we're, coming down on the male teacher. I'm sorry, Mandii. I actually think women teachers, when I see these clothes they be wearing.
No. All these women teachers little is out here fucking these boys.
I think so too.
Every time I look up sex in the news for vanilla shit, it's another fucking teacher fucking a high school boy, bro.
I'm telling you. I think people are totally predatory both ways. Every time I see one of the BBL teachers, and I'm not trying to be funny.
Not you calling them the BBL teacher.
There are BBL teachers that fucking be like, is this wrong? It's my body. What are you fucking talking about, bitch? Like, yes. You're not going to the club. You don't need to fucking... We see the belt on the goddamn last fucking hole. Stop it. Like, I'm sorry. Thick girls being ostracized for wearing the same thing as skinny girls. I totally get it. I get it when we're talking about anything else outside. But for school...
That's not fair, because I'm going to tell you right now, there was this motherfucking teacher that was a PE coach in high school. He was about 23 years old. Baby, he was fine. When I say fine, that's what I'm saying. So the way you're talking,
why is
like,
it not fair? What's not fair?
No, because there's bodies, there's things like. So then, should a fine ass nigga not be a teacher either?
That's not what we're talking about.
No, because
you got 12, 13, 14-year-old boys in your class,
14,
and you wearing these tight ass fucking dresses that are sexy enough to make a fucking TikTok with.
Okay, but then
now these little boys are over sexualizing you, but we over here thinking that it's just the men.
Okay,
I think
but
these
you
women like that shit.
You 6'4" with basketball shorts and a white beater on my motherfucking PE
Mandii,
class.
if you wanted to suck your PE,
and I did want to. I wanted to suck his dick bite. Before I was even sucking dick.
Yeah, we had
and that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're young, you have a crush on certain teachers.
Yes, but I'm not talking about attractive people. I'm talking about inappropriateness with the outfits. I'm tired of fucking acting like, bro, I'm not trying to be no MAGA bitch, but I'm sorry. I'm like on some real shit. I'm the girl who is out here saying, fuck whoever you want. Fucking have 3 husbands, 3 wives, be in an open relationship, but I'm an adult. And why the fuck are we crossing this goddamn line with kids? And I really think these bitches on TikTok with this weird shit, I was in a hole, bro, when I saw this. And I'm like, I cannot believe we're acting like she should be free to wear whatever she wants when the goddamn pants is up her ass.
Well, okay, I think on one hand, there's like a lot to be said about like the sexualization of certain clothing pieces generally, or just our bodies as a whole. But I also think, to what you're saying, like, and also to the incident with the hair, like, schools are still a workplace for teachers. So there are certain workplace norms that you wouldn't break in a workplace with adults. So why are we so comfortable breaking them around children?
Oh, that's a great point, Tara. I actually really fuck with that, because I would not be taking my hair out in front of people at work.
Bitch, that's a bullshit
lie. No, and the conference room, bitch.
You was taking your motherfucking hair out at work. You was come in here and talk about that.
It's secret, ho.
Bitch, this is work. You done took your hair out on the motherfucking podcast.
I own this work, bitch.
So, bitch, it's work. It's a work environment.
Anyway, let me skip this. You fucking bitch. You were talking about semen and prostate fluid on your page.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to tell us.
I like fluids.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. What were we talking about in terms of semen and prostate fluid? I think just that they're different and that there are tons of enzymes that work towards the evolutionary goal of getting the sperm to the egg. But when we do go over the anatomy of the penis and of the vulva, just all anatomy, point blank, period. We really try to approach it not in the way that schools might necessarily approach it. I feel like I remember from the minimal like sex ed I got in school that it was a lot of like ovaries and fallopian tubes and the uterus. And I was like, where's my clitoris? Where's my urethra? There wasn't a lot of that. So in addition to talking about the sorts of anatomy that you're more likely to get in school, we also try to talk about the clitoral urethral network. And we try to talk about homologous sex organs, how like we're all pretty much the same in utero.
The clit is a penis.
The clit is a penis, exactly. Right. So that's like pretty much where we start from.
Can I ask you then how your booty hole get aroused? Because sometimes my booty hole do just be a little juicy, but like, it's like, whoa, why is it juicy? Like my pussy, yes, gets wet. But sometimes my pussy get wet too. You feel me?
I don't know if I actually have an answer.
You don't know about why the pussy get wet?
No, but I can tell you that I have experienced the same thing.
Oh, so that's what I want you to do the research on.
Okay, I'll come back.
No. It's not a leaky butt, but like
sure, baby.
While I'm aroused, like the last time I had anal sex, baby, we didn't even use lube. I was really aroused.
Let me look it up.
Down there.
Why do my booty?
Why do my booty hole get juicy?
Anal cavity? What should I put?
Anal cavity is crazy. No, because that's the inside.
Why does my anus get wet?
What is that?
Vinny be telling me niggas be getting wet for him too.
Okay, why? Talk about it.
Rectal discharge.
No, bitch.
No,
it ain't discharge.
No.
It is clear.
Sweat.
It ain't sweat. I don't like that you picking out all the bad
you
things.
Bitches got IBS.
See, I don't know if I meant wet. I more meant like excited and large.
Excited. That's what I'm saying.
Let me see. I'm trying different.
What are you asking now?
Why does my anal? What is anal lubrication? How does it come? No, because
it's gonna show you lube, bitch.
Well, these bitches. One's a sex educator and a liar because that hoe got a little something going on.
And I'm a sexpert.
Mandii.
Apparently, that's what we call ourselves.
And you bitches are sweating. And your wet butt is being consumed.
It don't be or the coochie juices is running down or something is...
No. I ain't gonna hold you. I've felt it just at my booty hole. Like, I like, feel back down. I'm like, ooh, what's a little turned on? That little booty be a little turned on. What?
Okay, girl. it's a little turned on. It's crazy. Okay.
You have okay. Come on, Edit with
your booty be going too?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. Right? Apparently what happens is that like you get hot and your heart speeds up. So
it's
like
sweat.
you sweat. So you sweat.
So you get hot.
It's just sweat out of my
your
booty?
Heart speeds up. This is what Eden just said. You get hot, your heart speeds up. So again, confirmed you bitches be sweating in the butt.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Wet.
it. Sweat. I don't like that answer.
Got it going like a turbo.
I felt like I was aroused in my booty hole. Like my booty hole was like, bitch, we playing tonight. That's what I thought it meant. But my AC be on. I don't know how my booty hole be sweating.
Anyway, though.
Bitch, and I got a real AC, okay? Shout out to the ones who know. I ain't got a window unit no more.
That means you in the suburbs.
Anyhow.
Okay, so Whorible Decision this week is all about talking to younger kids about sex, helping these parents with that first conversation. Pee-pee or penis. Okay. What is the age that is appropriate to talk about sex, not the body? Sex.
Oh.
Partnered sex?
Yes.
I would say that there's a difference between the conversation around here's what partnered sex is versus the conversation around I'm preparing you for the fact that you might have partnered sex in the very near future.
Okay.
Because it could be a conversation of like, where did I come from?
Yeah, it could be, a conversation around how babies are made, a conversation around what certain body parts do.
And what age is that, you think, appropriate?
Honestly, from some things I've read, it can be around like the 5 years old mark.
I was going to guess 5.
I was going to guess 5.
Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name. There's this really good guide around like what aspects of the conversation should be happening at what age. So it's like 0 to 2. You can start introducing that certain body parts exist, or 2 to 4. If you notice that a child is engaging in self-stimulation, which really does start around age 2, you can encourage
self-stimulation starts at age 2.
Yeah, and often peaks around age 5 and then plummets right back down. A lot of the time, I think largely because parents discourage it and just say, stop touching yourself, stop doing that.
Well, what are you supposed to do? Because I would say stop, I feel like.
You would say stop?
Because I've seen a little kid, like a family friend, like one of those events, whatever, like just doing it around everybody. And we were all like, stop, right? But I don't know if that put something in his head or maybe, like, what are you supposed to do? Tell him to go in the bathroom and do it?
I feel like the conversation now in like sex positive parenting spaces has been to like stress the value of like privacy. Like that you are entitled to explore and understand your own body to whatever extent you want. But that's something that happens in the privacy of your bedroom or wherever it might be.
I guess we're like in a real sensitive era. I want both of y'all's opinions on your thoughts or what you would do. So I have a friend whose son is potty training right now and went to daycare, and amidst potty training, he's taking his clothes off because you're potty training
at home.
At daycare is taking his clothes off. So playing in the toilet, taking his pants off, and did this in class multiple times. Well, one of the little girls went to their mom and was like, Mommy, I saw a little boy's penis today. Clearly the mom is irate. Mind you, the whole class is potty training. They're between 2 and 4 years old. They're all potty training. And so the little boy got suspended. And the mom is completely upset because she's like,
you know this person?
Yes. So the mom,
is this one of your friend's kids?
Yes.
And their kids got suspended?
Yes. And the mom is completely upset because she's like, they're potty training. And why are you sexualizing my son?
Yeah.
I don't understand why my kid would get kicked out. What do you want me to tell a 3-year-old?
If they're potty training, where do they do it at that the little girl saw it?
He's taking his clothes off. Like
but aren't they in it?
When I was in preschool, we had like shared.
Yeah, you have shared boys and girls. Like, so the boys and the girls right now are potty training.
It's sad.
And I guess this is his first time. You're not wearing diapers. You're getting used to wearing actual draws. You have to wear clothes that are easily to come on and off. And he's just like walking around now with 3.
There's also a lot of child psychology around how like people at that young children at that age do want to be naked more often. And like that's sort of a really big part of the conversation that you're supposed to have when you have a child at that age, which is your clothes are meant to stay on when you're in public, and that there are certain specific private places where they might be removed, like when an adult might be helping you take a bath or when you're at the doctor's or whatever.
Well, and I think that that's the thing too, right? The conversation is not being had with little boys, but of course, little girls are like, if anyone touches you, if you see a dick, like they're not supposed to even look at dicks. They're not supposed to know what a dick looks like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my mama naked as fuck growing up. I ain't never seen my daddy naked. Ever.
Yeah, but hold on. Just a caveat. Little boys are seeing their dad naked.
Oh, okay. But that's what I'm saying.
My friends
women are shielded.
Brothers would often
it's the same.
Yeah, but women are shielded from penises. And
yeah, brothers. That's a good point. Your older brothers.
And so y'all are both like, that's ridiculous that the little boy got suspended.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's fucking crazy.
Okay.
That's.
I'm actually trying to think, like, did they keep telling him no, maybe he ran out? Like, you're telling me.
Because that's a teaching moment. That's a moment where the conversation is actually being brought up for you. So it's a really easy entry point for any parent.
Like, unless he tried to make her touch him.
That's a whole different thing. And that did not happen. He was just like, use the bathroom and just walked out the bathroom with no pants on.
But how also, when you suspend a little kid, do you then... It's hard to course correct because their brains are like this.
Right. And that's the thing. They don't know that what they're doing is wrong because they don't see it as wrong.
And what is punishing that kid really doing for anybody? Like,
I mean, I think, though, that's the other thing with the conversations between adults and children is the fact that we go in sexualizing damn near everything.
Everything.
Like, I was sexualized really early because I had hips and thighs. The adults just thought a bitch was fast as fuck out here hopping on and off dicks. And I was like, I don't even like tongue kissing.
Yeah.
Why are you putting that I'm this hoe or that I'm fast because of my body or how things fit me when, baby, I don't even want a nigga's tongue in my mouth.
Let me ask you, Tara. So, okay, I'm ready. I'm 5. Mommy, where do babies come from?
Oh my gosh. I don't have 5-year-olds. So this is also going to be a little tricky for me. But I would say to approach the conversation just being honest about the fact.
No, do it in your voice. Do it.
Okay. When people are older, they engage in something called sex. That is when a penis goes in a vagina and the result is a baby, and the baby grows inside the mommy's stomach and then comes out of the vagina. See, I feel like I just struggled through
Tara,
that horribly.
Tara,
but
I'm 13 and I have a boyfriend. And I really
y'all are quizzing me.
I'm 13.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 13. I have a boyfriend I really like, and we saw this movie and he wants to try it. He wants to have sex with me. What is the conversation?
Okay, I think
because 13 bitches is starting to be inquisitive and fuck. Or their boyfriends are 14, 15, 16. So how do you talk to me as a 13-year-old saying, I think I want to, try something with my boyfriend?
if it's my child, I feel like there's like a little bit more room to sort of instill my own morals and just life experiences, and to say I would not recommend that this is something that you engage in at this age. But if this is something that you're going to engage in, or even in the future, the near future, whatever it might be, these are the things you need to consider. You need to consider what barrier methods you want to use. You need to consider what consent looks like. You need to consider.
Okay, I'm going to tell him yes, and he's buying the condoms.
Again, personally, if you're my child, I would encourage you to hold off and think about it, because there are a lot of things, both emotional and like physical safety wise, that come along with engaging in sex. Like the possibility of pregnancy, but also, like the emotions that can come and be at play.
Can you talk more about that for parents with teenage kids? Like when they're telling their kids about emotions that a 13-year-old can understand, what would you be saying?
Yeah, sex, I think, means such vastly different things to different people, I think, even at an early age. But it's good to understand like the societal norms that we have in place now, which are that there is a lot of attachment correlated with sex. And so thinking about what like the expectations might be after you engage in sex for the first time. Like, does this person think that means that you're going to be in a relationship? Is that something that you want? Do you feel comfortable talking to this person about, feeling safe in that moment, or feeling unsafe in that moment, feeling comfortable in that moment, or uncomfortable in that moment? I think, there are just like a lot of factors at play.
There is, because once we have sex one time, mommy, we're probably going to do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
but stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
so
those are conversations I wish I had with, like, I wish I had with anybody. There was nobody to have those conversations with except for my homegirls. And a lot of my homegirls in my teenage years, they had all had sex like before I did.
Yeah.
So I felt like I could rely on them. But goddamn, it's the blind leading the goddamn blind.
Yep. 100%.
Like you know what I mean?
That's kind of the idea behind our program, is we wanted to feel a bit less like the blind leading the blind. But I definitely think, gosh, there was something I was going to say. I just blanked.
Wait, I can give you something else that I'm curious about. So when, okay, we're at 5, right? Let's just say, from what you've heard, I want to maybe more so talk about, because I just brought up my friend's kids. What is it seeming like, and where is it seeming like children are learning about sex the most, and what adults in their life are they coming to talk about it?
I would say that it seems like a lot of the conversations about sex are from peer-to-peer interactions and through social media. I think even just on our TikTok, we definitely ended up on a side of TikTok that had a lot of younger people just posting things. And it seemed to be a lot of conversations about really like slut-shamey conversations is what I noticed a lot of. And also we heard a lot of reports of from our students. And I definitely remember feeling like that to an extent.
They still slut-shaming
when I was in
you?
high school. Yeah, that it's just like a fine line to walk. You're like either a prude or you're a hoe. And it's kind of...
Wow.
What about when it comes to maybe they're watching movies or television and talking about threesomes? Have you had kids ask you about threesomes and group sex?
We actually haven't had kids ask us explicitly about threesomes and group sex. I know I talked a little bit about like our conversation about BDSM and kink. And I think even regardless of if BDSM and kink are necessarily things that people would approach as like conversations they want to have with kids, there are like a lot of universally good things you can learn from those communities as far as like the level of just safety and consent required in a scene, what aftercare is, like a lot of those things that are slowly making their way to the mainstream. Even thinking through like the way that like young people choking one another during sex has become more and more mainstream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, think about Euphoria.
Yeah.
And that can be unsafe for a number of reasons,
I mean,
especially if you don't know
especially the fact that a lot of teenagers are as well experimenting with drugs and alcohol. And they don't know what their tolerance levels are, and then they're still engaging in sex. Or, you know.
Also, I feel like if the approach to learning about sex is through mainstream porn, and there's a lot of violence that can take place in mainstream porn or just aggression generally, that can be somewhat scary within itself.
Well, yeah, that's why these niggas think they got a jackrabbit a bitch. Girl, that's not how to do it.
That's not
now adult advice. Let's get on to the HeauxMail.
HeauxMail. By the way, one moment.
Oh, go.
Y'all motherfuckers send us in some HeauxMail. It's a little scarce over there in the emails.
Good point.
So
Horrible decisions at Gmail.
Send your goddamn HeauxMails or confessions, any questions that you have regarding sex, dating, relationships, on over to horribledecisions@gmail.com.
HeauxMail in the subject line really helps us to weed it out. And also, if you send it in the DMs, it gets lost. Okay.
Yes.
So, hi guys, love your show. It took me a while to write this. About 2 years ago, I went out drinking alone because I was sad about a guy I was seeing. He came out and told me that he got a girl pregnant. So while I was there at the bar, I met this guy. Let's call him A. We start talking and drinking, and I end up going home with him. I was so drunk that I ended up running out of A's house because I was so embarrassed from throwing up in his bathroom. Fast forward, we all have. Fast forward, I went to see him again sober. Let's just say the dick was massive. So in my mind, I'm like, I hope it's good. And I was wrong. We started with me on top, had a good rhythm, but he kept messing me up by trying to fuck back. He wanted to turn me over. He started pulling my hair extremely hard. And when I looked up at him, he was flicking his fingers over his nipples, and it creeped me out. So then he goes in and starts fucking me really rough and said he was getting me back for talking him crazy.
What?
He was throwing me everywhere, pulling my hair harder than before. And at this point, the sex started to hurt. I eventually stopped and told him I was ready to go. The dick was still hard like a missile. He asked me to suck it, but at that point, I was so turned off and ready to go, I just said no. While he was taking me home, he kept saying, yeah, you was talking to me crazy all week. I had to show you. And when I got home, I thought, did this nigga just beat me up during sex? And the next day I told him about himself, and I told him rubbing his own nipples is gay as shit. You were weird for that. I ran into him again at the neighborhood gas station. He was trying to feel me up. I told him to get away from me or I'm going to cause a scene. Never talked to him again. Sadly, about a month or so later, he got killed outside the bar I met him at.
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God.
I was not ready for that ending.
I did. You ain't even redid.
Why is that the last sentence? Like, you're just going to leave
You're
us
just gonna
there?
leave it? Was there a question there?
Nigga.
I mean, I would say
That is the end of the letter.
there is a way to dissect this. Ladies,
I want to dissect it a little bit.
I want to dissect it a little bit.
There's a lot of parts.
I want to start with the nipple play.
We gotta
nipple,
get that in the clip. Rest in peace.
Nipple play for a lot of men is a thing, and I hate that that's being.
I told him he was gay.
Gay, especially as a woman, for you to throw it in their face that it's gay as shit. It's not.
He was terrible during sex, but that doesn't mean you gotta call him gay. He's an asshole.
Like, biologically, there are just nerve endings.
Literally. And they feel good. I love a man that tell me they like a little nipple play. I be up on that thing like,
well, we know if you like butt, honey.
Shut
up.
The
nipple won't stop.
Nipple ain't nothing.
I have a few thoughts actually. So, one, by the way, this is not to blame you, but when he was saying that, like, he was in his own role play.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you can tell from reading this, like, he was playing a game that you didn't like.
Or that you didn't know you were playing.
I think you did a good job by stopping him.
Yeah.
So shout out to you for that, because a lot of people might have finished and hated themselves after. But for people listening, I've played this game during sex.
So have I.
Girl, I was literally at Buttons last night talking to a nigga too long, and I was getting fucked. Like, bitch, what's wrong with you? I don't know. I'm crazy. But not everybody likes that. First time sex. I don't really like shit like that. I think that what happened to you, I don't know if you necessarily got beat up during sex. I think that aggressiveness is truthfully what men think women like. They think women like this dominance shit. They don't understand that we need to lead you on to that, ask for it, etc. I'm really sorry that a situation happened to you. And frankly, maybe that's why.
Don't do that. Okay.
That's
Don't do
interesting because I feel like my first thought was that it seemed like this guy was really in his own world a little bit and like not considering what would make the other person comfortable or uncomfortable.
Which most men do.
Like to me, when you said, did you get beat up during sex? To me, that's not really assault. And he stopped when you wanted to stop. That to me is a big thing.
I mean, I
right
think
there.
also the fact that she alluded that she was talking shit that whole week. And he literally responded, oh, you was talking shit and I told you I was going to show you. Like, to me, maybe you were being, you know, maybe he thought you were a part of the game. Like, maybe you were talking shit or nagging him on. And he was like, oh, yeah, bitch, I'm going to show you when we, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
there's
especially
that possibility where he thought he was being playful, but then there's also that possibility where he was just saying whatever was going to turn him on in that moment and just did not care about the fact that would make you feel horrible.
I think the fact that the dick was also massive, I don't think niggas with big dicks all the time know that, A, you have to work extra hard to make sure we're aroused and wet because otherwise it's fucking painful. Especially like if a woman just, I mean, damn near all of my friends, including me now, have fucking fibroids. And she said that her fibroids and where they're sitting is what causes her to have painful sex.
Oh.
So the fact that there's all these things that could be happening in our vaginas, if you just go in there pounding and it's big and you didn't fucking arouse me because men love to just go straight into it, it becomes painful and not enjoyable at all.
Cervical stimulation, I feel like for people who do find it enjoyable, at least from what I've heard from people who I know or people who just DM me or whatever, like at least the first time or first couple times, it's really not that.
Oh, I hate the first time with a big dick. The first round is not fucking fun.
I like that you discussed it as cervical stimulation.
I like that
because
too.
I've definitely talked about, like, obviously I know what a cervix is. When I'm talking to my homegirls about shit, I'll be like, bitch, I don't really like when they hit that wall too hard. But it's literally your cervix. You feel it, right?
I don't like that.
Also, what you just mentioned about friends having fibroids, I have a friend with stage 4 endometriosis. When she has sex, if the penetration is too hard, she literally throws up.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
And she's like, bro, I cannot wait to get over this phase of my life. And it is...
I'd end up gay.
It is a real thing of
gay.
Your dick in a vagina not being open enough, lubed up enough, engorged. Like, you have got to notice those signs. Like, this is not even, I think, big dick exclusive. Like, I think you could have a medium or small dick, and I've definitely felt
maybe not a small dick.
Yeah, maybe not small.
I think about that all the time because I think, I mean, not even to just go back to what we were talking about earlier, but in thinking about like how I grew up and feeling like something was wrong with me from not orgasming from penetrative sex, I think about people who have dyspareunia or have vaginismus.
What's dyspareunia?
Dyspareunia is just like a umbrella term for painful sex. So it could be vaginismus or it could be,
have you heard that word before?
No, never.
Vulvinitis. I don't know. There's
dyspareunia?
Yeah. Dyspareunia. D-Y. I can never say
Dyspareunia. Okay.
Dyspareunia.
That sounds like a Latin lady name.
Dyspareunia.
Dyspareunia.
Yeah, or some people will say deep dyspareunia, which I think is just
I like deep. I like it deep. Deep dyspareunia. You know what's crazy though? I'm one of those where pain is pleasure sometimes. Like there's some dicks where I just be like, God damn, I want this nigga. Like in my head.
That's different. That's getting stretched out.
No. Like
or a little bit of friction.
I like pain now. Because I'm going to take a big dick. And then I like psychologically knowing I'm taking this big dick. And I literally be like, nobody else takes this dick like this, huh? Like that's a role play in my own head.
Do you see Mandi's ego? I want everyone to see this just now. Oh, no, Mandii said she'd be in pain just to know ain't nobody else taking your dick.
Ain't nobody else taking your dick like this, huh? That's like a part of
sick bitch.
Oh, I love it.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense to me.
What?
No, just that, like thought process. I feel like that you're not.
I love, and I be like, I'm gonna take it because I know, bitch, this thing. I know bitches ain't taking this shit, but I'm gonna take this shit. You know what I mean? That'd be me,
bro.
Like,
the biggest dick I ever had was my first real boyfriend, the Latino dude I always talk about from Orlando. And I remember thinking one day, because he had a brother, and the brother's gay, and we had this moment where me and the brother's husband were like, I was like, yo, he got a big dick too? And we started gagging like,
they don't. Brothers don't be having the same size
they
dicks.
Oh, we're gagging because he's like, oh my God, it's huge. It's
the
huge.
brothers I know must have different daddies.
I can't even bottom anymore. Like they're laughing, right?
Jeez.
And so I realized, because the brother was like maybe 8 years younger. So I'm asking my man at the time, like, How big was your dick in high school?
Whoa. That's the question?
Because
Wait, do y'all's dicks grow bigger after y'all graduate high school? Really? Oh, there's one nigga.
No.
I'm scared.
Yours did too?
Well, grower, not a shower.
No, yeah, what's it called?
Really? But
Okay.
David Ennis said, hey,
I ain't know
y'all
dicks
come
kept
get 'em. We got
growing.
bigger. If you fucked him in high school, they grow.
There's one nigga I used to call Patty Cake. Boy, oh boy, then I don't want to see that dick. That dick was we was fucking when I was in high school. That nigga's dick was massive. I wouldn't even want to see it now as an adult. He a grown man now. I wouldn't even want to see that dick. That dick was big.
Your clitoris keeps growing as you age too.
That's true.
Look, we paused. I was like, I might have to do a little research.
Nah, I think so.
Sarah, let everyone know where they can follow you, support you, and where they could possibly have their children sign up for your youth program.
Okay, we are www.theirselves.org. We are at the Youth Sexpert Program with a 3 in the word sex. On Instagram and TikTok. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook. My personal Instagram is your ex-girlfriend Tara. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Sign your kids up. Is it free?
It is 100% free.
How do you get
that's
we
Girl,
we're
nonprofits, girl.
fundraising.
Yeah, they be
it's
getting
hello
paid
here.
through grants and shit.
But
I'm just like,
But yeah, no, it's 100% free. We've been able to give students community service hours in the past.
love it.
So we're
Oh, that's
totally down
great,
to
though.
sign off on like any internship papers or something you need to sign for school. But yeah, we're also totally down to talk to parents and try to like make our program more approachable in any way we can.
we will definitely make sure to repost some stuff. And
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no.
Let us know.
We're I don't know when this is coming up, but we're hosting like a parent education digital event on the 21st of June.
Nah, this will be
No.
after
No.
that.
Okay.
Girl, we be.
But it'll be posted on our website. So parents can definitely come check that out. We also have our parent liaison who's totally down and willing to talk to parents about any concerns. And yeah,
this is a year-long program, so
it's a
active
semester long.
It's
so
semester. Okay.
Our cohorts happen in the fall semester and
Okay.
they end right before Christmas break. And then we have a next cohort.
So as of right now, over the summertime, the parents can start to look up the program and what's available for a sign up in the fall.
Yeah, our student
Okay.
applications are open now, and we send our parent outreach around August.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Tara, so much for joining
Thank you
us.
so much.
This was fun, even though
Tara or Tara?
I usually say Tara.
oh shit.
Okay.
No, but it's cool. I'm like
I said
so
Tara
not
or Tara.
particular.
What I say?
Because I'm thinking Tara Reid.
All right,
But
girl.
no, what?
Tara Banks. Tara Banks.
It's someone's
Tyra.
name.
Oh, that's
Banks.
Tyra. That's shit. Tyra, my bad.
Y'all go check us out on Patreon.
And it's still fuck them kids. Sorry, even though we here for the kids.
Yeah, I can't say that, but
Patreon.com/Whorible Decisions for all the bonus content. And this has been yet another episode of Whorible Decisions. Bye.
It's bonus bitches. Ketchup and mustard. Hopefully it's y'all's fave. Behind a paywall is such a nice place to talk about yourself because on YouTube, they be like, damn, bitch, you crying again? Y'all
I
like
ain't
the
been crying in
tears.
a long time. Y'all can suck my dick from the back. That's what the fuck I say.
I'm trying to think. Hold on. When's the last time I cried?
The last time I cried was on Patreon when I was going through all that goddamn bullshit with that bitch.
I can talk about something emo
Okay,
right now.
you could be emo.
So BET weekend came. My boyfriend came to LA. And I don't really talk about my dad too much because for me, I don't like to really talk about his health. And, you know, he's getting older. But I was so emotional because he met my dad. And my dad was just having a hard day. You know, older people, like, they got a good day, they got a bad day. So he just needed a little care and stuff like that. But it was a very vulnerable thing for me to meet my dad because no one had met my dad since Old Bay. And at that point, my dad wasn't in a wheelchair. So this was like a new thing. And we hadn't really talked about it much. My mom was there. We all just played games together. It was nice. Like, we were enjoying each other's company. We hadn't really talked about it. I just told him how much it meant to me. Last night, when we were on a double date, he said, we talked to a couple that just got married. We just went to their wedding. It was Gila. Y'all always hear me talk about the other Gila. So basically, we talked about each other's parents. And he was like, yeah, I just got to meet her dad. And it was so nice to see how that side of her is. Like, I see her mom in her, but I was glad to see her dad. Like, I see the more serious side. I see this protector energy that she has. I'm like, my dad didn't even really talk. So how did you see all that? Like, all we did was play a game. He didn't really say much to you. He was like, because I I could see it. The way you and your mom would move around, he would want to watch where you're going to make sure you're good. Even if he can't open the door, it's always there. Like his masculinity is always there. And I was like, damn, bro. Like, I don't know if it's just dating someone that's a little more empathetic or what, but like, I never had conversations like this outside of scissors about my parents or how things make me feel. Like, Old Bay was very surface level. And I think
a lot of men are, and especially black men.
It just doesn't hit you until it hits you when you have something different. And like, I'm watching him and I don't want to start crying and at this table. We're having like this fun dinner. But I was like, he was thinking all that. And he said, then I wondered, there were a few moments where I was like thinking of how he looked at me. And he's not even saying this to me. He's saying this to Gil's husband. He's like, I can watch him look at me with his daughter. And like, he used to be this protector. And I'm like the new one now for her. And it's like this weird moment I'm having. And I'm like, what? Because he told me none of this. And he's really thinking about it. And he's like, and it made me wonder how he feels. Like, you should be, you know, going and drilling your daughter's new man and figuring all this shit. And he's like, but maybe he can't do that because he's in a wheelchair, but because he can't move around on his own. Like, maybe he's feeling away. And I was like, bro, it was just getting me really emotional. And we were on the car home. I was like, oh, like, you really gonna be my husband? Like, oh, that's, like, I understand now. Like, this is why this is happening. This weekend, we went to a Nigerian wedding, and I got to be around his parents again. And when I walked in, not joking, I was the only light-skinned person. It was, I was like, I felt like a white woman. Nigga, I walked in there. I was like, and mind you, I'm asking him, you sure we don't got to wear nothing African? And he's just not that type of nigga. He's like, no, baby, I'm wearing my fucking tabby boots. Like, do your thing. Like, we dress and fly. We're sitting at his whole table. His dad
Everybody
is
got African
like
stuff
chief
on him.
counsel. This is his dad. He got up there. He's like making a speech. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God. They think I'm Puerto Rican. And they think that I'm the woman that made you wear a fucking regular suit. Like, that's all I could think, is that I'm this influence, you know? And then I'm also feeling this pressure because he's been around my mom a lot, right? Because we're going to LA for a week at a time. And, you know, my mom's right there. And I'm just like, am I not doing enough? Like, how do I make sure I'm respecting the elders? Like, that's such a process with Africans. Like,
yeah.
What do I do to let them know, like, how much I care about their son? I don't want to overdo it either.
Well, you ate with your hands, right?
We didn't eat fufu or not.
Oh, okay.
But the wedding was Jamaican and African.
Okay.
So I was on the curry chicken.
All right.
But anyway, yeah, it's really tough because now I'm in this phase of my life where I'm like, ooh, like, I really want to make sure. I never thought about being this good for someone's mom before or their parents. But what hit me, I'm at this wedding where he introduced me to 15 uncles, 10 cousins. And you know, Africans, family, friends,
families are
cousin.
big.
You just caught a snippet of some bonus content over on our Patreon.
How are you not a subscriber yet? How? Patreon.com/horrible decisions for a bunch of really fun content from us.